completely different.
It's time for Hoppe's Inbox, only on Hoppe Hour with Ryan Hoppe.
I love pissing off the trolls. I'll be honest. I used to be a little bit afraid of the trolls. Not afraid, but like I would delete all comments or I would just give it a heart and put it on mute. Now I love doing it because it's so easy to piss off trolls. Because trolls think they're so mighty and so smart, but they're really a bunch of recovering high school bullies that have nothing else in their life. And this all goes back to the beginning of September, almost said June, when I called out Karl from that terrible podcast, Who Are These Podcasts, where all they do is talk about others. And when they do it, it's acceptable. But when anybody calls them out, heaven forbid, you call out the Opie and Anthony copycats. Bunch of wusses. So I made a video, 2.5-minute video, because I began this war. And let me tell you, I purposely did this. Everything I do when it comes to my social media presence and my show is calculated. There is not one part of the show that isn't calculated. Now, my love life and my family and my friends, I don't calculate people like that because I'm not a sociopath like other people on radio. But when it comes to my podcast, everything I do is calculated. Like, for example, the other day, one of my former co-workers took me off of Snapchat, so I texted him saying pretty much, I wish him nothing but the best, and I'm not sure why he took me off of Snapchat. And then he added me on Snapchat, and then I think I got talked about on air. It's all for free publicity. Every time you talk about me, it helps me. And I don't think people get that. Because a lot of these people that talk smack about others, if it's a podcast or radio show, they think they're doing themselves a favor. You saw what happened to Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern, Man Cow, Bubba the Love Sponge, all of the people that called out everybody back in the day. Now they're all a bunch of middle-aged people that everybody hates. And this podcast, Who Are These Podcasts, tries so hard to be like Opie and Anthony. And it's like, do you want to end up being, irrelevant at the age of 57? I mean, come on now. But we got a lot of comments here. First comment. You're butthurt. You got clowned. Get over it. I'm the one that began this whole war with this stupid podcast. I didn't get clowned. They got clowned because they fell for my trick. They've given me thousands of listens. Thank you. Next comment. Don't take the stuttering John approach. A lot of people, whenever you call out other people online, they say, oh, you're like Stuttering John. No, a lot of these people that they compare me to, all they talk about is other people. I talked about a podcast for 2 minutes and then did 2 hours of good content with throwback hits. So kiss my ass. Next comment. Who the hell is Ryan Hoppe? Trust me, that's the most relatable comment I've ever gotten because I'm trying to figure that out myself. Next comment. Fun fact, Karl has a beard and she's 18 years older than him. How disgusting. He needs to come out of the closet. Also, I wouldn't get that bent out of shape over it. Hopefully it directs more traffic to you and your show and you benefit from it on the long run. Also, wasn't Ryan's Hope a soap opera? I have a good story about that. I went for a job interview in Seattle about 6 months ago and I was a runner-up for it. I wanted it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't get it in a way because then I would have had to leave Florida. But I really wanted the job because I was working at a conservative company and I was really unhappy because I was working at a conservative company and all they talk about is trans people because they're obsessed because they're a bunch of bullies, kind of like these trolls I'm reading. And I had the interview and the guy goes, this is like a soap opera. And I go, what do you mean? This is how the Zoom call begins. And he goes, well, your last name's Hope. And there was the show, Ryan's Hope. And then there's that awkward moment when I have to correct people. And I'm like, it's actually Hoppe. So that comment made me think about that. This is my favorite comment, though, I got. Have you tried doing a podcast without a sock in your mouth? Again, to all the trolls out there, you're just doing exactly what I wanted you to do. You made me relevant. I was relevant before, but I was relevant in Tampa. And I got 6 comments from this podcast hating on me. It's nothing. I've had to deal with the rage and the attacks of Rover's Morning Glory over the years. and personal attacks about my personal life from my former friend, Mike Kelta. Hope to someday make up with him, but he has a few things to say sorry about. So I've dealt with actual radio drama, not some podcast that talks about others because they're copying Opie and Anthony. I just love when people that have the power, if it's a shock jock or this podcast, it's cool when they call out other people. But when I do it, oh, you're just jealous, you're butthurt. I'm the one that began this whole madness. You're doing me a favor. Karl, I know you're listening to this and all of the trolls out there. If you really hate me, never talk about me again. Because this is what I wanted. When I interviewed Chad Zumach 7 weeks ago, Chad's one of my friends. I would like to think you would say the same. I mean, we don't hang out, but I've known the guy 11 years and I've been a fan. And I said, how can I get some attention from the mutants online that are in this thing called the Dabbleverse? And I said, let me interview my boy Chad Zumach, who I think's the best at it, and then I'll get all this attention. And you fell for my bait, which shows that you're an amateur, because I call out Cowhead or Rover, and they don't really respond. But I call you guys out, and you make a video about me, and then you make a few podcasts about me, and it's like, thank you. Come again. You're only helping me, dummies.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.